Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. This one is a little different. Bovine versus canine. Loose dog did some damage. Defendant is here for restitution and sentencing. And Judge Wiggins has to do some research, so there's about a week adjournment. But when he comes back, you will be very surprised with his decision. Don't forget to hit the like button. Court with Krissy is now in session.
All right, this is case number 255019 SM, appearances counsel.
Nate Carnes on behalf of the people.
I'm Jeff Harrison. I'm here on behalf of Rocky Jones. He's joined me at the table.
All right, you all may be seated. We are here for a couple of matters. One is a sentencing on a plea to a stray dog taken back on February 26th. And we're also set for a restitution hearing. Is there any agreement to the restitution?
There is.
All right, Mr. Carnes, are you prepared for that hearing today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's do the restitution hearing first, and then we'll see where that gets us from sentencing. Are there any preliminary matters we need to be concerned with?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
Not on behalf of.
All right, then your first witness, Mr. Carnes.
Yes, Your Honor. People call Gregory Graham.
Mr. Graham, will you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
You may have a seat. Counsel, before we get started, I wanted to bring an issue to everybody's attention. I've known Mr. Grayheck for years. We have sat on councils together and go back even further than that. I don't believe that creates a conflict for me, but I'll leave it up to either of you if you feel it does.
I don't believe it does. Mr. Grayhead's a known member of the community. He's owned a business here for a number of years.
All right.
See an issue.
All right. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Carnes.
Thank you. Can you please state your name and spell it for the record?
First name is Gregory, Gregory, middle initial A, and last name Grayheck, spelled Grahek.
Can you describe what you saw on your phone the morning of September 14th, 2025?
On my phone,
Yep.
it's a trail cam, and I observed a dog, long nose, baring its teeth, chasing my cow.
Okay. What did you do after you saw this on your phone?
Well, I did not see that until approximately 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. That ding went off on my phone at approximately 2:30 a.m. in the morning. Did not hear it at that time. That's why I did not see it at that time.
Understood. So what did you do at about 7:30 in the morning?
I jumped up, pulled over to my shop or my property where the animals that I have are housed. And I pulled up there and observed the situation at hand.
And can you describe what you saw when you pulled up to that pen?
I pulled up to the pen approximately 30 feet from the gate, and I observed a dog coming. Actually, the dog was already came out of the fence coming at me. And when I saw that, I just took my foot and made a motion because it appeared to be coming at me, what I thought to be viciously. And I took my foot and kicked at it, and it went away from the side. And then I looked back in front of me, and there was another dog inside of the gate. At that point in time, I looked to my right, and I observed my little micro Highland cow laying on its side, feet extended, eye hanging out, lip all bit off, blood all over the place.
What happened? What did the dogs do next?
The other dog came out of the fence and they ran off.
Okay. Are you aware, did anybody follow those dogs?
Yes,
And
someone did.
who followed the dogs?
Megan Keller.
Were you aware of anyone near your shop who had trouble with dogs getting loose just prior to this incident?
Objection, that's cause for speculation.
It's a restitution hearing, so I'll allow it.
Thank you. Were you aware of anyone in the area of your shop who had an issue with dogs being loose?
This occurrence that I just described happened on Sunday morning, approximately between 7:30 and 8:00 a.m. when I arrived to see what had happened. That was Sunday. On a Friday, approximately 7:45 in the morning, I was coming to my shop to open it up for a normal business day. As I drove in my driveway, I looked down the long driveway and I saw a pickup truck coming toward me. I thought that was strange. Don't open until 8:00. So I parked my truck at the office, which is down by the road, got out of my truck and I walked over to the side of my driveway like I was going to approach the driver, stop them, ask them what they were going, what they needed. I thought it might have been a customer. As it turned out, it was a pickup truck. The person rolled down the window and spoke to me and said, "Hi, Greg, do you recognize me?" And I looked at him and I said, "Yeah, you're Rocky Jones." He said, "Yes, I am." That was the Friday before. He said, "I've been up all night. My dogs got loose and I'm looking for my dogs." I believed him. Looked like he was tired and maybe had been up all night. I said to him, "Rocky, if I see your dogs, I know where you live. I'll get a hold of you." He drove out. I went to work.
Okay. Do you see that Rocky Jones in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you tell me where he's seated and something that he's wearing?
He has a long beard. Hat beside him and he's sitting to the left of his attorney.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Mr. Harrison, any objection?
I have no issues with that ID.
This will so reflect.
These guys know each other.
Thank you, Mr. Grayheck. I have no further questions for you. Just stay right there, but I don't have any more questions for you right now.
Mr. Harrison, do you have any questions for Mr. Grayheck?
Yeah, just for clarity. I think I understand, but I want to be sure. This encounter that you had with Mr. Jones was on Friday, like first thing in the morning, you're coming in to open for business?
That is correct.
Okay. And this other incident that you described with the unfortunate demise of the cow happened on Sunday morning?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Carnes?
No further questions.
Mr. Grayheck, the Friday that you described, was that the Friday of the same weekend?
Correct.
All right. And were you able to tell whether the dogs you saw on the video were the same dogs that you encountered that morning at the pen?
Singular dog.
Okay.
There was not two on the video or the picture cam that I saw. There was one. And because it was 2:30 a.m. in the morning or dark, I believed it to be the answer to be yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Carnes, is that raising any additional questions?
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I was talking to the deputy. He said that, what was the answer to that question?
You want to repeat your answer?
Will you ask if
So I asked whether he recognized, essentially whether the dogs that he saw in the video were the same dogs he encountered when he went to the property at the pen, and your answer?
I clarified it, not plural dogs. I believe the one dog, because that's the only one that showed up on the video that I saw. I believe that because it was 2:30 in the morning and dark, I believe that to be, to look similar to that dog.
Okay.
Features, long nose.
Understood. Thank you. No, I have no further questions.
Mr. Harrison,
I have no further questions.
may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Permanent or temporary?
I'll just say temporary.
All right, Mr. Grayheck, you can step down, but I still need you to hang around in case you need to recall you.
Outside the room, Your Honor?
Yes, please. Thank you. Mr. Carnes, your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people called Deputy Alexis Howard.
Deputy, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may have a seat. And whenever you're ready, Mr. Carnes.
Thank you. Can you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Alexis Howard, ALEXISHOWARD,
Where are you employed?
the Wexford County Sheriff's Office.
Were you working on September 14th, 2025?
Yes, I was.
Is During that shift, did you have contact with a Megan Keller?
I did.
Where was Megan when you encountered her?
I believe when I spoke with her, she was at the, I don't remember the name of them, the storage units off of Bell Ave.
Okay. And were you in the same location with her physically that day as well?
Yes.
Okay, where were you when you were, was that at the storage?
Yes,
units?
that was at the storage unit.
Right. What was Megan doing at that time?
Chasing loose dogs.
Okay. Did you see these dogs?
I did not see them when I first got to the storage units, no.
Okay. Did you see them at some time later?
I seen them once, myself and Officer Genema went to the house where they resided at.
Okay. Did Megan tell you about where she had observed the dogs coming from? And
Objection, hearsay.
it's a restitution hearing. It's a preponderance of evidence, and the rules of evidence don't apply.
I'll allow it. You may answer the question.
You asked that question?
Yeah. So I'll split it up. Did Megan tell you where the dogs had been coming from?
She said they came from her parents' property and that she had followed them over towards the storage units.
Okay. Did she tell you where they went after the storage units?
She gave a general direction of where they, like what way they went, but she didn't know specifically where they went. She
Okay.
believed they had went back home.
Did she tell you where the dog's home was?
She did not, as far as I remember. She just said a general direction of where they went.
Okay. How is it you were able to locate the dogs after this?
I believe that Officer Genema was familiar with the dogs and where they lived at. So I just went with her to do it.
Thank you, Deputy. I have no further questions this time.
Mr. Harrison?
I don't have any questions for Deputy Howard right now. I guess it depends a lot on what Mrs. Jenna was going to say.
Are you planning on calling Officer Gentleman?
I am gonna call Officer Genema. I don't plan on excusing Officer Howard or Deputy Howard until the hearing's over, so.
And Deputy, you may step down.
Thank you, and thank you.
Next witness, Mr. Carnes,
Next call, and we'll call Officer Rebecca Genema.
please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may have a seat. And whenever you're ready, Mr. Carnes.
Thank you. Can you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Rebecca Genema, REBECCA-JENEMA,
Where are you employed?
Wexford County Animal Control.
Were you working on September 14th of 2025?
I was called in on overtime that day.
Okay. And what happened when you were called in?
I received a call from Central Dispatch saying that they had dogs and some livestock at the Greyhead Nursery. And they told me that the complainant was a Megan Keller, I think was the last name. They gave me her phone number, so I contacted her by phone. At the point when I talked to her on the phone, she said she was following the suspect dogs and they were over in the area of Meyer Veterinary Clinic. And Central Dispatch had also informed me that Mr. Jones had contacted them saying he was missing his 2 dogs in that area. I then gave Mr. Jones a call by phone and explained to him where the dogs were and asked if he could head over to that area to try to find them and get them contained.
And what did you see when you arrived on scene?
Deputy Howard was already there. They had the calf that was dead, they had in the bucket of the tractor, and the other one was still in the pen area. And Dr. Myers was working on the one that was still alive.
Okay. What did you do after being, so this was at the Greyhead property, it sounds like.
Yes.
Did you go anywhere else after that?
Yes, after we just assessed the scene and whatnot, then Deputy Howard and myself, we went over to Mr. Jones' residence. I was familiar with where it was. I had been there before on a dog running complaint.
What did you see when you got to Mr. Jones's residence?
He had both dogs contained at his residence at that time. We went over what the incident was, what had happened. I explained to him that the dogs would be coming with animal control at that time because of the injuries to the cattle and that the dogs would have to be quarantined. He chose to sign off on the dogs at that time and relinquish his ownership to Wexford County Animal Control.
What, if anything, did you notice about the dogs at that time?
One of the dogs had a bunch of blood on its collar.
Approximately how far is Mr. Jones's house from the Meyer Veterinary Clinic?
I would say it's less than a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile.
And the Mr. Jones that you're speaking of, do you see him in the courtroom?
He's sitting in the bench chair,
Can you tell me something that he's wearing?
in the Harley Davidson jacket.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witnesses identify the defendant.
Any objection, Mr. Harrison?
No.
It shall so reflect.
Do you know Mr. Jones's address or what street he lives on?
Given the nature of this hearing, is it okay if she looks at the report to refresh her memory?
She may refresh your memory.
Thank you, Officer Gentlemen. I have no further questions. If you can stay right there.
Mr. Harrison, any cross?
What kind of dogs are these?
They were both a pit bull type dog.
Pit bull lab mix? That's what your
That's a
report said?
possibility, yeah.
Yeah. Not an uncommon or exotic breed, just a regular kind of dog you see.
Yep.
You often see at the shelter.
Correct.
Okay. You mentioned one of the dogs had blood on its collar.
Yes,
Did you mention that in your report?
I did not.
Yeah. You remember which dog?
I do not recall which dog it was. And I did not notice that until I got back to the shelter.
Okay. Did either of the dogs have blood anywhere else on them? Like
I
around their
didn't.
mouth?
I did not notice any other blood on them.
Okay. And you didn't notice the blood on the collar until you got them back to the shelter?
Correct.
You described as a calf, apparently one of the animals was killed, one of the cattle?
Yeah.
And that was being loaded into a bucket, you said?
The front end bucket of a tractor.
Okay, so they were gonna bury it.
I assume, I don't know that for a fact. They had just removed it from the pen and it was in the front loader of the tractor.
Are you aware of any necropsy that had been performed on that animal?
No, I did witness that its ears had been torn off and the muzzle of the animal was, appeared to be kind of like shredded, like something had been biting at it.
Yeah,
Those were the wounds that I had noticed.
predominance of blood in the location of that animal. The animal itself that had been killed was bloody.
Yeah, there was blood on it.
Yeah, sounds awful. Okay. You said it was a common thing that Mr. Jones' dogs got off his property.
I didn't say it was common. I said I'd been there
Okay.
before for his dogs to
All
be
right,
large,
all
so.
And usually the dogs came back without incident before, correct? No big deal. All right. And you took the dogs from Mr. Jones' residence that day?
Correct,
And those dogs were destroyed like the following day, correct?
correct.
So was any further examination made of either of those animals
Yes.
prior to their demise?
They were both sent in for rabies testing, which is required by the.
Sure, right,
So
okay.
that's the.
But that was it?
Correct.
And you didn't take any picture of the bloody collar
I did not.
or of the dogs themselves?
I did not.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Carnes?
Thank you. Officer General, what kind of vegetation terrain existed at that time between the Gray Heck property and the defendant's home?
There's some residences there. Just some fields. There's some businesses also on that lot.
The fields that are there, are they mowed?
Yes, a good portion of them are.
Okay. Was there dew on the morning of September 15th?
I couldn't tell you that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Harrison, any recross?
I have no further questions for Mrs. Gentleman.
Officer, I want to make sure I'm following. So when you arrived, there was one cow deceased, and then the vet was tending another one?
Yes.
All right. Did you observe any other animals injured?
No, just the two, I believe they're Highland cows. They are.
All right. And then, correct me, I thought you said the defendant lived on counsel. Does that raise any additional questions?
It does not, Your Honor. Thank you.
May this witness be excused,
Yes, Your Honor.
temporary or permanent?
We'll just excuse everyone temporarily.
All right. Ma'am, you can go back into the waiting area. You may be recalled. Mr. Carnes, your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. The people's call Susan Grayheck.
Mrs. Grayheck, if you could go around that half wall and, yes, please. And before you're seated, if you raise your right hand, you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You may have a seat. Counsel, again, before we get started, I've known Mrs. Grayheck for a long number of years. I don't believe that creates a issue for me hearing this matter, but I'll certainly leave it up to either of you to raise that issue.
I have known Mr. Jones my whole life, and these people all know each other. I don't think it's a matter of anybody having a bias here.
All right, then Mr. Carnes, you may proceed.
Thank you. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Susan Grayheck, SUSANGRAHEK.
And we did hear testimony about a dead Highland cow earlier. Did anyone investigate that dead cow? Any, did a veterinarian look at the
Yes,
cow?
and Dr. Alan Myers from Myers Vet Clinic did, yes.
Okay, thank you. For the record, I'm approaching the witness of what has been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 3. Do you recognize that document, Mrs. Grayheck?
Yes, I do.
And what is it?
This is, Dr. Meyer was called to our nursery on the morning of the incident.
Okay, did he write that document
Oh,
that you're
yes,
holding?
yes, he did. Yes,
And does it kind of summarize what he saw when he examined this Highland cow?
yes, it does.
Your Honor, at this time, I would move to admit People's Proposed Exhibit 3.
Mr. Harrison.
Voir dire, I'd like to have the contents of the letter read into the record. So,
Then does that not defeat the purpose of admitting it as an exhibit?
well, you can admit it, but I also want it to be a record in a way that is made public. Do you agree that this letter from Dr. Myers, this is sad, and I'm sorry to have to go through this with you. He describes that the female cat was found deceased.
Correct.
And it sustained multiple bite wounds to the head, one ear had been chewed off, and there was significant trauma to the face and lips. She had several bite wounds and one eye was prolapsed. Is that your understanding of his observations on that date? And is that the purpose of this letter, just to document that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Any
I
objection?
have no objection.
3 is received.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask to publish to the court. Mrs. Grayheck, did you replace this dead Highland cow with a similar Highland cow?
Not at this time, not till spring of this year.
Oh, okay. Did you keep a receipt of what you paid for the deceased cow?
I presented that.
Okay, and for the record, I'm approaching the witness with what has been marked as people's proposed exhibit 1. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
And is that the receipt for the deceased Highland cow?
That is, yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I would move to admit people's proposed exhibit 1.
Mr. Harrison,
No objection.
one is received.
And I would publish to the court. Mrs. Grayheck, aside from the deceased Highland cow, what, if any, other damages were done as a result of these dogs being on your property back in?
There was some fence damage done.
Okay.
Also.
And what was done to repair that fence damage?
We had to replace some fencing where one of the cows had broken out, and some staples and just some repairs that our company had replaced and fixed.
Okay. And who paid for the fixing of the fence?
We did.
Okay. And for the record, I'm approaching the witness with what has been marked as people's proposed exhibit 2. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what it is?
It's a bill from our company that I paid our company to replace a couple of our gentlemen that worked for us to replace the broken.
Okay, so you paid out of pocket some of your employees.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
At this time, I would move to admit people's proposed exhibit 2.
Mr. Harrison, two is received.
And I would have to publish that to the court as well. Thank you, Mrs. Grayheck. I have no further questions.
Mr. Harrison,
Mr. Carnes asked you an interesting question. He asked you other damage that were attributable to the dogs being on your property. Can we unpack that a little bit? What dogs are we talking about?
We're talking about the dogs that got into the fence that ended up killing the cows.
For what-
I'm sorry.
So it's also your understanding that the cow's injuries were caused by a dog?
Correct.
You didn't see any dog attacking
I
anybody?
did not.
Okay. So there's nothing. It's your assumption that these damages were caused by a dog.
I saw it on video.
What did you see on video? A dog
Correct.
standing outside of the fence,
Inside the fence.
inside the fence.
Correct.
Did you bring this video with you?
No, I did not. I was told that was all taken care of.
Okay. So what you believe you saw in the video was a dog chasing your cow?
Correct.
Okay. Again, one dog, was it black and white or was it in color?
It was, the video was in black and white,
Black and white, okay. And it was taken at 2:30 in the morning?
approximately.
Yeah. So would you agree with me that it's dark out?
Yes.
Would you also agree with me that the only way you might have been able to tell that was a dog because of the noise it was making?
There was a noise in the video, correct.
Okay. And it sounded like a dog would make a noise?
Barking,
Yeah.
correct.
Then you would describe it as barking and dog type noises. I don't know how else to say it. Okay. And the damage to your fence that you're assuming was caused by the same dog or dogs?
The damage to the fence would have been the attack on the other cow. There was another cow
Right.
that was injured, and that cow broke out through the fence.
So the cow,
That was alive left. Yes.
oh, because he was frightened, he ran through the fence.
Mhm.
Okay. That makes sense to me. I'm going to ask you this. He's okay?
He is now, but he wasn't.
Okay. So this was a male cow
Correct.
and the other one was a female cow. I don't want to say bull. Was she a bull?
Steer.
Steer. Okay. I think we all know what that means, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Carnes?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mrs. Gray, I have a couple questions for you. The invoice for the purchase of the cow,
Yes,
I see that it's dated June 16th, but it looks like it was written in, paid in full on August 25th. When did you actually take delivery of the cow?
September, well, I'm sorry, excuse me, sir, September
8th?
8th, yes. I actually picked her out at the end of April. So, yes, so.
Okay. And then the invoice from your company.
Yep.
The labor is $150, but I don't see where that talks about how many man hours. Do you know how many man hours that
I
was?
think it was about an hour.
And then the letter that Dr. Meyer wrote, it's not dated. Do you know when he wrote that?
He wrote that, I picked it up last Thursday, a week ago today.
All right.
Or, yes, sorry.
All right. Thank you. Council, does that raise any additional questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Harrison?
None for me, thank you.
May Mrs. Grayheck be excused?
Yes, Your
Temporary?
Honor. Sure.
Ma'am, you can step down, but I need you to wait outside.
Okay.
Any additional proofs, Mr. Carnes?
Not on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Harrison?
I would call Rockeford Carroll Jones to the stand. That's him.
Mr. Jones, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Have a seat. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jones, I know you know why we're here. We're talking about September 14th. Why don't we start with you recalling what you recall of that day?
The morning that the dogs come home,
Yeah,
okay,
that would have been the 14th in the morning.
yeah. I went looking for them, drove around, didn't find them. So I went home and I told my wife, I can't find them. They're either gonna come home or they're not. If they don't come home, that means the dog pounds picked them up. And we can go over there and talk to them.
Okay.
And that was it until the dog catcher lady called and said she had him quarantined in a fenced-in area.
Okay, so slow down. I told you to go fast, and I told you to slow down. I'm sorry. So the officer, you're speaking of Officer Gentleman, the woman who
Yeah.
testified recently? So she said that she had located the dogs?
And they're they're in a fenced-in area. Want to know if I would come and get them and deal with them. I said, yes, I would.
Okay,
And I went out the door, got in the vehicle to head over there. And as soon as I got in the truck, here the dogs come walking up the road.
okay. So those you recognize as those were your dogs?
Yes.
What kind of dogs were they?
I always considered a Heinz 57 because I don't know all their.
Okay,
But we got it. The one is a pup, and we didn't know who the father was, or anything, what breed the father was. And the mother, excuse the French, was a tramp, I
okay,
would say.
okay.
She'd just back up to anything.
Just a couple of dogs.
Yeah,
Okay. Mrs. Gentleman mentioned that you'd had some trouble keeping them contained in the past. Is that accurate?
excuse me. The one we took care of for a while,
What was that dog's name?
Hope.
Hope, okay.
She was the mother.
Okay,
Took
that was
care
the
of her.
older dog?
Pardon?
Hope was the older dog?
Yes.
Okay,
The people that owned the dog got in some trouble and went to jail, and so they needed somebody to take care of the dog, and it was pregnant. And so me and my wife said, yes, we'll take care of her while you're in the jail and stuff. Well, while she was in there, in jail, the dog had, I don't know, what was it, 11 pups?
whoa,
And when she got out, we give them all to her, and we told her, she said, if anything, if you got the runt left, we'll take the runt. We watched them come into this earth, come onto the earth, and I kind of fell for
run anyways.
So that was the second dog that we're talking about in this incident? What was that dog's name?
Gypsy.
Gypsy. Okay, so Hope and Gypsy were the two dogs for whom you were responsible. Okay. Had they gotten out of their enclosure before?
Gypsy's a runner, when we didn't know that at the time.
Okay,
We was adopting her.
sure.
And so we didn't know what, she was a runner. She never run off on us before. And so we didn't know.
Well, what would happen on the occasions when she ran off?
She'd be back in the next morning, sitting on the porch, waiting for us to get up.
Had either of these dogs ever exhibited any sort of aggressive behavior?
No, I got grandkids that did play or crawled over them and stuff. Just, they never,
What about with other dogs?
no, actually, no aggressive. My neighbor across the street has a big, I don't know what they're called. It's a great big dog, but it's the same age as what Gypsy was. And she'd go across the street and play with that dog and be there all day long in the mechanic's garage while they're working. These dogs are laying around in the
Okay.
garage. They're not bothering anybody.
But those dogs aren't contained in any
No.
sort of enclosure?
They're inside the building.
Okay, but they're free to mix with your dog?
Yeah,
Okay. And that happened relatively often? as
yeah,
well?
just about every day. I'd let my dog out to go to the bathroom. I'd look, she's over there in the enclosed in area with that other dog playing.
And there was no trouble that arose
No.
from that? Now, let's go back to the morning in question. The dogs came walking up the road. What did they look like?
Like they'd just been out all night.
What do you mean by that?
It wasn't all muddy or nothing like that.
Okay,
As soon as they seen me, their heads, both of them,
right,
dropped towards the ground, and they both walked up to where their chains was,
okay.
and I chained them up.
So you reached down and connected a chain to the collar that each dog was wearing?
Yes,
Did you have an opportunity to observe any sort of blood or any injuries that they had suffered or any excessive mud or anything like that on the dogs? So you say you didn't see that or it wasn't there?
it wasn't, I didn't see it. There
Okay,
wasn't no blood that I could see.
okay. Did it look like anybody took a chance and had hosed the dogs off or
No, they was
bathed them in
dry.
any way?
It was dry. They
Okay.
wasn't soaking wet or nothing.
Okay, and then that was the time that Mrs. Genema, the officer,
Yeah, she come up and first thing she did, she handed me this clipboard with some paperwork on it.
okay,
And she said, if you sign this paperwork, we'll take your dogs and put them in quarantine for 10 days.
okay,
I said, okay. She says, and then we won't issue you a dog at large ticket.
okay.
So I signed it.
Well, that was your understanding of what you were saying.
Yeah, I understood that they was gonna take the dogs and put them in a 10-day quarantine.
So you knew the dogs were leaving with Mrs. Genema that
Yes.
day. Why did you sign that? Just because?
She said that that's what.
Okay.
I was supposed to sign that, or they would take the dogs and do what they wanted pretty much with them, I
Okay.
guess.
Did you keep anything worn by the dogs that day?
The gypsy's collar and her license.
You pointed at this envelope. Is this the collar in
Yes, it
question?
is.
Is this the same way it looked that day?
Yes.
You haven't washed this or
No,
cleaned
it's
it or?
I'll tell you, it's been hanging in my porch. That's where I put it, so I remember. She was my best friend. Excuse me, I'm kind of touched.
It's
over
okay. People get killed, this is a sad case all the way
Yes.
around. That poor cow was
I'm
killed.
sorry that their cow got hurt and stuff, but I don't think that she did it. She didn't, neither dog come back with any blood on it.
Okay, and they weren't the sort of dogs that were in the habit of attacking other things, were they?
No,
Okay,
not that I know. They got messed up with a porcupine, but all dogs do that.
okay, once.
Yeah.
I would propose this to be the defense exhibit 1, just to publish it to the court. Do you have any objection?
What is that?
It's the dog's collar,
It's Gypsy's collar.
Gypsy's collar.
Okay.
All right. So at the end of the day, that's your thinking.
Yeah, then they was just going into a quarantine.
Okay.
So I waited
But
my 10
Mr.
days.
Jones,
Hold on. Mr. Carnes, do you have any objection to the collar being admitted as evidence?
Where did you receive this collar from?
Pardon?
Where did you receive the collar from?
It was on the pup. I took it off the pup when Mrs. Gentleman or Miss Gentleman, whatever, took my pup away from me and was supposed to be putting her in quarantine. I took it off. I wasn't gonna, but I'm crying because she was my best friend. I went to the bathroom. She stood at the bathroom door. I went and ate. She ate.
So when did you take this off of Gypsy?
When Gentleman, Mrs. Gentleman, Miss Gentleman, whatever, took the dog, I took it off around the dog's neck.
This would have been the morning the dogs came back.
Yes.
Officer Gentleman called you. I have no objection.
thank you.
Let's get that marked as Exhibit A.
Thank you.
It was hanging in my shed ever since until this morning.
Chain of custody, that's okay. I will publish this to the court as well, if you want to
A is received.
have a look.
Mr. Carnes, did you want to look at this?
Did you see it? I'm sorry.
Nope, that's fine.
Thank you. Nothing further right now. I'm sure Mr. Carnes got some questions for you. I'll be right over here.
All right.
Carnes?
Mr. Jones, why didn't you take the other collar?
Because they'd already had the dog in the truck and everything, so I couldn't get at it. Or I would have took her collar too.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Harrison?
I have no redirect, Mr. Jones. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, what color was Gypsy?
Gypsy was brown, more brown than anything, but she had a little bit of black on her back,
Okay.
but mostly brown.
Was she a dark brown or a light brown?
Wasn't this color brown, it was lighter than this, kind of a tan brown.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Mr. Carnes, does that raise any additional issues?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Harrison?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
May Mr. Jones be excused?
Indeed.
May step down. Any further proofs, Mr. Harrison?
I have no further proofs, Your Honor.
Mr. Carnes, any rebuttal?
Yes, Your Honor. The people call Animal Control Officer down.
Obviously, I'll remind you, you're still under oath. You may have a seat, and whenever you're ready, Mr. Carnes.
Thank you. Officer Gentleman, do you recall telling Mr. Jones that you had located his dogs and that they were in a fenced-in area back in September?
I told him that they were over by Meyer Vet Clinic.
Okay.
That's the area that they were
Right,
in.
they were in. And what happened to the dogs after you made that phone call?
After I made the phone call to Mr. Jones, I did not talk to anybody until I got on the scene. And then at that point, I was informed that the dogs had been contained by Mr. Jones.
Okay.
When I arrived at Gray Hex, I should say.
Who told you that the dogs had been contained at Mr. Jones's house?
I believe it was Deputy Howard that said that they had been contained. I don't know if she actually said they were at Mr. Jones's. She said that the owner had contained them, I believe.
Okay. And what township are all these venues in?
Herring Township.
How many other dog at large complaints did you receive in Herring Township on this date, September 14th of 2025?
No other complaints that day.
Do you recall telling Mr. Jones that he could keep one of the dog's collars?
I may have told him that he could, I mean, that's not uncommon for me to say that when we're, when someone's surrendering their dog, sometimes they want to hang on to the collar. I can't really, swear to that.
Okay. But you do remember one of these collars had blood on it?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall what happened to that collar?
I believe it was left on the dog when I took him to the vet and we had him put down.
Okay. Do you remember, do you remember one of these dogs being older than the other one?
One was older than the other one. One of them, Mr. Jones had for a while that I've been out there on. The other one was a newly acquired dog. I would say like within the last month, Mr. Jones had gotten it. So I wasn't as familiar with the second dog.
Okay, the second dog, do you recall whether it was older or younger than the dog that Mr. Jones had for longer? I don't know.
I have their ages written down on the report. I have to look at the report as to how old they were.
Okay. I think I've given lost of these, so. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Harrison?
I have no further questions for Mrs. Jones.
So you may step down.
Your Honor, the people are done with proofs. Thank you.
Argument then?
Thank you, Your Honor. I think the people have shown by a preponderance of evidence that the victims, Mr. and Mrs. Grayhack, suffered damages as a result of this dog at large. Conviction that the defendant has in the total amount of $8,175 based on the People's Exhibit 1 and 2. I would ask the court to issue a order for restitution in that amount. Thank you.
Mr. Harrison?
There's not any proof here that terrible injury suffered by that poor cow was as the result of a dog or perhaps some other animal, or perhaps I don't know. Let's engage in further speculation. Was it a coyote? Was it a wolf? We don't know because there's no proof that says that. Even Dr. Meyer's letter talks about bite marks. It doesn't talk about consistent with those of a canine creature or a domestic dog of a certain breed. So there's difficulty one. Difficulty two is there seems to be a video of a dog that can't really be described because it's dark, it's 2:30 in the morning and it's a black and white video. There seems to be a description of a dog that had blood on its collar, but we don't have the collar. We don't really know what happened to that collar. So we can't bring that proof before you either. What we can bring before you, Your Honor, is Mr. Jones' testimony, as well as the collar worn by the other dog. It was simple enough for him to preserve that evidence for absolutely no reason. He didn't know he was going to be asked to pay restitution for the tragic death of that cow. Everybody liked the cow. It was a cute cow. Mr. Jones liked the cow. I didn't ask him that, but he told me that in private. So we don't know that these injuries were caused by a dog. The calf itself was promptly disposed of and buried before any necropsy could be confirmed to confirm or deny that. We don't know if they were caused by some canine creature, what canine creature did it. And we do know that these dogs showed up as they normally did when they got out of their enclosure the next morning and were not bloodied at all. It didn't appear to be, had been in any sort of tussle or anything like that. They weren't dirty. They weren't disheveled. They were dogs, as he put them. He bent over to put a chain on them, connected it to their collar. He was within 6 inches of those dogs, and he didn't see any blood on the dog. We find out this bloody collar later that wasn't in the report, wasn't taken a picture of, and was not preserved for evidence. I think even by a preponderant standard, this has fallen well short of establishing that Mr. Jones or Mr. Jones' dogs were responsible for the tragic death of this animal. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Carnes?
Thank you, Your Honor. As far as the video, I'll admit it's not very useful. Defendant has a copy of it. They could have introduced it if it would have been groundbreaking. I don't think it would have. It was useful in that it alerted Gregory Grayhack to what was happening tragically hours after the fact. And then, I mean, it's really, we follow a trail. He testified there were dogs in the cow's pen when he got there. Those dogs were followed by his daughter. And then Deputy Howard arrived on scene. There's no other loose dogs in the area. I think that people have shown up preponderance of the evidence that it was these two dogs who caused the damage to the cow. Thank you.
Council approach. All right, council, I am going to take this matter under advisement because there's some research that I want to do into restitution in regards to pled charges versus dismissed charges. So I want to do that research and we will reconvene back do we have time next Wednesday?
Sure.
We'll reconvene next Wednesday and I'll just give a written opinion on that and then we'll go into sentencing then at that point.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Any objection to that?
There you are.
No, I think it's a measured approach. I appreciate it.
Mr. Harrison, I'm going to give you the collar back because I don't think I need that anymore. Mr. Carnes, do you have any objection if I hold on to these exhibits until next week?
Hold on to those. Thank you, John.
All right. All right, Mr. Jones, you can go out to the front window where you checked in and get your next court date. I apologize, I'm not giving a ruling today, but there's as we discussed at sidebar, there's an issue that I want to research before I give my ruling on that matter.
All right.
Parties, as I said, you can go to the front window where you checked in.
I'm Jeff Harrison. I'm here on behalf of Rocky Jones, who's joined me today.
All right, and we are here for a sentencing. We were here last time. We were conducting a restitution hearing that concluded. The court took the matter under advisement. So we're back here today for a ruling on the restitution and then a continuation to sentencing. Do both parties agree with that?
Yes.
All right. So I know when we were here last time, I said I would give an oral determination as to what my order would be on restitution. I am going to do that, but I have also written an opinion on that as well. So I'm going to be reading from the opinion. This matter now comes before the court on plaintiff's motion for restitution, a hearing of 18th, 2026. At the conclusion of the hearing, the court and counsel, and there's a footnote that the Chief Assistant Carnes appeared on behalf of the people at the restitution hearing, had a sidebar conference to discuss whether or not there had been a reservation of restitution to the charge of stray dog count 2, which was dismissed as part of the plea agreement on February 26, 2026. Both attorneys believed that there had not been such an agreement, and the court took the matter under advisement. The court has since had the opportunity to review the recording from the plea-taking process and agrees with the attorneys. While there was a discussion about the need for a restitution hearing, restitution was not specifically reserved for the dismissed count 2. The court has had the opportunity to review various statutes and law regarding the matter. In particular, the court finds People v. Foster, reported at 319 Mishap 365 from 2017, controlling in this matter. In a nutshell, Foster says that a person can agree to be responsible for restitution as part of a plea agreement for charges that are dismissed, but absent that agreement to hold a defendant liable for restitution on a charge for which there has not been a conviction is a violation of his due process rights. Accordingly, this is our starting point. On February 26, 2026, defendant entered a guilty plea to count 1 of stray dog. Count 1 is in regards to a pit bull Rottweiler mix. Count 2, the dismissed charge, was a stray dog in regard to a pit bull lab mix. There was discussion at the time of the plea for the need for a restitution hearing. However, there was no specific mention that defendant agreed to pay restitution for the dismissed count 2. At the restitution hearing, Mr. Gregory Grayhack testified that he had observed on his cell phone a recording of a dog chasing one of his cattle. He received the alert at approximately 0230 to 0300, but did not see it until later in the morning. When he arrived at the place where the cattle were kept at approximately 0730 to 0800, he testified that he had a dog approach him. He made motions to it and it ran off. Another dog in the cattle pen also ran off. Mr. Grayhack described in gruesome detail the condition of one of the cows, and later testimony demonstrated that the cow had perished. Mr. Grayhack also testified that one of the dogs that he personally encountered that morning resembled the dog depicted on his trail cam. And he further testified that Megan Keller followed the dogs after they had left the area. Wexford County Animal Control Officer Genema was called to the scene to assist Deputy Howard with the investigation. And she testified that during this time, defendant had called and reported that his dogs were missing. ACO Genema testified that she was familiar with defendant and his dogs and went to his residence. At the residence, she located the dogs and defendant relinquished ownership and control of the dogs to the Wexford County Animal Control. She further testified that the dogs were a pit bull type. She testified that one of the dogs had what appeared to be blood on its collar. Mrs. Grayhack also testified as to the value of the deceased cow and the cost to repair the damaged pen that the surviving cow went through out of what appeared to be from fright. Defendant also testified during the hearing, and he testified that Hope was the mother and that Gypsy was one of her puppies. He further stated that Gypsy was a runner. The defense entered Gypsy's collar as evidence, and the defendant testified that he was able to keep Gypsy's collar but was not able to keep Hope's. This statement leaves the court to believe that Hope's collar was the one that contained what ACO Genema described as blood. However, defendant testified that he had not seen the blood on the collar after he chained them up upon the dogs returning home. Defendant also testified that both his dogs had been missing and returned back to the house the morning of the incident. The court will take notice that as the crow flies, the distance between defendant's residence and the location of the Grayhack cattle is approximately 1/2 to 3/4 of a mile. After the testimony was concluded, the plaintiff requested that restitution be ordered in the amount of $8,175. As the parties are aware, when a court is asked a determination of restitution should be charged to a defendant, the prosecution bears the burden of proof beyond a preponderance of the evidence. This burden is a very low standard of proof. In this case, it is the opinion of the court that the prosecution has met its burden in showing Mr. Jones' dogs caused the death of the cow and damaged the pen. However, it is also the opinion of the court that the prosecution falls short in proving which dog caused the damage sustained by Mr. and Mrs. Grayhack. As previously stated, a defendant cannot be held liable for restitution in a criminal charge he was not convicted of unless he agreed to it as part of the plea agreement. In this case, no such agreement was made part of the plea agreement. As such, the prosecutor is required to show that the Pit Bull Rottweiler mix dog in count 1 was the dog that killed the cow and caused the other to break through the fencing of the pen by preponderance of the evidence. Here, the prosecution did not present any evidence in that regard. All the court was shown was that the defendant's 2 dogs were terrorizing the cattle. The testimony of what was believed to have been blood on Hope's collar was beneficial. However, there was nothing presented that Hope was the dog listed in count 1, as both dogs listed in the complaint were of a pit bull mix. As such, because restitution was not agreed to be paid for damages arising from the dismissed count 2, the court finds that the prosecution has failed to meet its burden for restitution in count 1, as it failed to show that the animal in count 1 caused the damage for the restitution requested. Accordingly, the court finds the defendant not liable for restitution. I have signed that order, and we will make sure counsel get a copy of that provided to them, and that gets us to sentencing Mr. Harrison, any allocution.
Well, Your Honor, it appears to me that Mr. Jones acted responsibly when he realized his dogs had run off. He called animal control, said, "My dogs are loose. I don't know what to do." And his dogs came home. That's why he had no problem saying to the court, "Yeah, I didn't keep this animal under control like I have an obligation to as a responsible pet owner." And that's what he told the court when his plea was entered. He didn't expect to walk away with no sanction, a fine or anything like that. So he's more than willing to atone for what his obligation was to keep that animal secured, and he didn't do it. I would recommend that a fine be imposed, a nominal fine, court costs. Mr. Jones is 68 years old and is on a fixed income. So he wouldn't have the ability to pay an excessive fine, but at the same time, he's also aware that his responsibilities as a pet owner.
Thank you, Ms. Dole.
Your Honor, I ask that you follow the recommendation.
Mr. Jones, you have the right to address the court prior to sentencing. Is there anything you'd like me to know?
No, Your Honor.
Well, Mr. Jones, I want to be very clear that it is only because of a mere technicality that you are not being ordered to pay restitution in this case. There is no doubt in my mind that your dogs killed the Grayhack's cow. No doubt. So don't even try to deny that, because if it had not been for this technicality, I would have ordered the $8,175. And that's not to say that the Grayhacks can't turn around and sue you civilly, because they very likely could do that. But what I'm left with is what I have for sentencing. So we no longer have restitution, and there's an agreement that there be no jail and no probation, or at least that's the recommendation, that there be no jail and no probation. And as I know we covered at the sentence or at the plea taking process, that's the recommendation. That doesn't mean I have to follow that.
I understand that.
Now, do I think that you intentionally let your dogs run and wreak havoc throughout the neighborhood? No, I don't do that. I don't. But your own testimony at the restitution hearing, you knew one of them, at least one of them, was a runner. I mean, you stated that Gypsy was the runner.
No, excuse me, Your Honor. Oh,
You're good.
I'm sorry.
Well, go ahead. What did you want to say?
What I meant by that was Gypsy, the pup, wasn't a runner. Hope was the runner. Hope kept running off on us. And we tried keeping her on a chain and
Okay. So I may have gotten that mixed up in my notes, but in any event, you knew one of them at least was a runner.
yes.
And from what I recall from the testimony, you had been at the Gray Hacks property just a couple days before looking for the dogs that had run off. So you do bear some responsibility there. I mean, it's not like this was a one and done. You were on notice that you had dogs that ran loose. And so what I'm left with is, how do I, one, make Mr. and Mrs. Grayhack feel as though they're somewhat vindicated for what happened? How do I do some sort of sentence that drives this point home, that you need to take more responsibility regarding the dogs, and that also drives home the point and makes the public safe, and to the point there needs to be rehabilitation, although I don't necessarily think there needs to be rehabilitation in this. I mean, you know, you need to keep your dogs tied up, and you didn't do that. So I don't think there's any amount of probation that's going to be beneficial in this case. But what I do have is two dogs that were running loose on at least two different occasions, and the testimony from the animal control officer, well, she didn't testify to that. She says she had dealt with you in the past. So I know I'm guessing there was more than the two times, but I don't know that. And so, and this is where my role as the judge gets, I don't want to say tricky, but it gets interesting, where I have to try to fashion a sentence that's going to make sense for everything that happened here. There will be a $75 Crime Victims' Rights Fund fee, $50 state minimum fee, $100 fine, $150 court cost, $150 attorney fee. I'm not going to put you on probation because I don't see whether that's going to be beneficial to you or beneficial to the community. I am going to do 5 days jail with 0 days credit. Mr. Jones, you'll have to go with the bailiff.
I didn't hear what you said.
You gotta go with the bid.
Okay, so Mr. Jones, I'm going to, because you said you didn't hear what I said, so I'm going to go through that with you
Yeah, I'm
again.
hard to hear.
Okay.
Your Honor.
So there's a $75 Crime Victims' Rights Fund fee, a $50 state minimum fee, a $100 fine, $150 court costs, and $150 attorney fee. Because I don't find probation is going to be beneficial to you or the community, I am imposing a jail sentence. There's a 5 days jail with 0 days credit. So you'll need to go with the bailiff.
All right. You said my life, please.
Any more stuff? Are those readers though?
Yeah, they're very.
Okay.